Hi, I'm Roxanne Richardson, and this is Technique Tuesday. A new knitter recently asked me in the comments of one of my videos to explain how to differentiate the cast-on edge from the bind-off edge of knitted fabric. Now, there are any number of reasons why a knitter might want to do that. One might be that they need to pick up stitches specifically along one of those two edges. Or maybe they want to ravel the knitting in order to reuse the yarn. So finding the bind-off edge is what will allow them to do that. Or maybe they're just looking at an item someone else has knitted and they want to figure out how a garment was constructed or how to decipher the stitch pattern. For me, the surest way of identifying the cast-on and bind-off edges is not by examining the edges themselves, but instead by looking at the fabric between those two edges and determining which direction the fabric was knitted. This will immediately tell you which way is up, and therefore which is the cast-on edge and which is the bind-off edge. I have a couple of reasons why I prefer to look at the fabric first. One is that it's often really easy to see the direction of knitting from a distance. In order to evaluate the edges, you have to get pretty close to it and sometimes poke at the stitches to really see what's going on. And in addition, looking only at the edge can confuse or even fool you because there are many ways to bind off and even more ways to cast on, like 40 or 50 ways. The most common cast-on methods have matching bind-offs, and the most common bind-off technique has a matching cast-on. So you can't always rely on looking at the edge to tell you which way is up. Once you have identified the direction of knitting, you will know which edge is the cast-on and which is the bind-off, and at that point, you can examine the edges more closely, and then you can figure out what type of cast-on or bind-off was used if that's important to you. And in some cases, the technique used may not be obvious or familiar to you, but at least you will know whether it's a cast-on or bind-off technique. So let's look at some swatches knit in different stitch patterns along with a couple of projects. We'll identify the direction of knitting and then look at the cast-on and bind-off edges. So let's get started. So the first swatch we're going to look at is just some ribbing, and then we'll look at it in the context of an actual project too. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for distinct columns of knits that show me a V that is in the correct orientation. So what do I mean by that? If we look at knit stitches, they look like V's. So I've got an orange, blue, and orange, blue here. They look like a V. If I turn this upside down, I still have V's here, but I have 3 V's that are each half blue and half orange, and then I have a half of a V on this side, because we're talking about this orientation where it looks like a V, not where it looks upside down. So I'm looking at edges to see if I can see a half stitch or if I see a full V right at the edge. So when we look at ribbing, we can pull it apart a little bit, and I can see that I have 2 columns of knit stitches here. And so I can see the V of the stitch in this column and a complete V in that column. So I know that the direction of knitting was in this way, and so that this is the cast-on edge and that's the bind-off edge. So let's look at it upside down though, so that we can really understand what's going on. If we look at it this way, I can see a V right up the middle, but then I've got half of a V on either side. So I know that this is upside down and that I need to turn it this way in order to understand the direction that it was knitted. At this point, we can then look at the actual cast-on edge and bind-off edge and see if we can determine what method was used. So I used a standard long-tail cast-on and a standard chain bind-off. If you look at the chain bind-off from the edge, it looks like a column of knit stitches. So that's what the standard bind off looks like. So to identify the cast on method, we can see that there are these sort of diagonal lines that tell us this is probably a long tail cast on. And then we can look closely at the edge and we can see that it's made up of a single strand that creates a twisted loop at the base of these regular knit stitches. So it's like it's got its legs crossed here. So this is a standard long tail cast on, and this is a standard chain bind off. So let's look at some projects so that we can use what we've just learned about identifying the direction of the fabric by looking at these elements. So these are Stockinette socks, and they have knit 2 purl 2 ribbing at the top. So when we look at this ribbing, we can see clearly those 2 columns of knit stitches, the V's. And so we know that it was knit in this direction. So this was a toe up sock. We have that bind off method that matches the long tail cast on. So I couldn't look at this edge and know that this sock was knit toe up. I'd have to look at the ribbing. If I look at this one, this also has knit 2 purl 2 ribbing, but I can see that I've got a V in the middle and then I've got the half V's here. If I turn it this way, I can see clearly I've got the 2 columns of knits. So this one was knit cuff down. And again, I've got a long tail cast on. So I use the half hitch bind off for my toe up socks because it's a type of sewn bind off and it gives me that same stretch that I can get with a regular long tail cast on. So that's using the ribbing to identify the direction of the knitting. Now I have a little swatch that is made up of knit 1 purl 1 ribbing, and you can see that you can't look at the edge and tell the edges apart. This is because I used a tubular cast on and a tubular bind off. So these are commonly used with knit 1 purl 1 ribbings. But the other trouble with determining the direction that it was created is that because the ribbing is relaxed, we can't see the purl columns. So if we look at this, we think, oh yeah, I can see these individual columns of V's right here. That's no problem. But if I turn this upside down, it's going to look the same. So what I have to do is gently pull this apart, and then I can see where those purl columns are. And what I'm seeing here is that I have an upside down V. And this might be like hard to distinguish, but you can see as I pull it further apart, it becomes more obvious that this is a column of knits, but it is upside down. So I'm going to turn it this way. And now it's easier to see where the columns of purls are, of knits are. And as it relaxes, you can see that we've got these V's. So this was knit in this direction. This was a tubular cast on, and that was the tubular bind off. So here's an example. It looks a little bit like a gauge swatch. I have garter stitch border all around and stockinette in the middle. And it's really hard because you've got stockinette that looks the same right side up and upside down. And garter stitch looks the same right side up and upside down. I want to look at that transition between the garter stitch and the stockinette and see if I see a full column of knit stitches. And I do right here. I can see that there is a full column of knit stitches. And if you're not sure if what you're seeing is what you're seeing, turn it upside down from the direction that you are looking at it. And then you can see, okay, well here is a column of knit stitches, but then I have this kind of half column right here. So then I know I've got this upside down. I can turn it this way, and this was the direction that it was knit. So here I did something a little tricky. I did not use the standard chain bind off. I used a long tail cast on, and when you get used to looking at this edge and those kind of diagonal lines, and as I showed you before, there's a twisted loop. Well, what I did at this edge is the match to that cast on method. It's called the half hitch bind off, and it looks exactly the same as a long tail cast on. It's a type of sewn bind off. And I have those same twisted loops that go around these stitches right here. So you can see that twisted loop right there. So this is a place where you really have to look at the fabric itself to determine which way it was knit. So now we have a garter stitch swatch. And the challenge with garter stitch, as we mentioned before, is it looks the same right side up and upside down. So let's take a little look closer at garter stitch. If we pull it vertically, we can see that we get these ridges right here. In each ridge, we have an upper bump and an offset lower bump. So if we think of the upper bumps as being like a frown and the lower bumps as being a smile, but they're the same size, and so when we turn them upside down, it's going to look identical. The upper bump is the head of a stitch. So when we're working in garter stitch and we're knitting every row, when we're knitting across the row that's facing us, the face of the fabric that's facing us, and we do a knit, we get the V-shaped stitch here. And then on the next row, when we're knitting, the back side of that stitch is facing, so it looks like a purl on this side. So this is these are purl bumps, and this is the head of a stitch. So we know that we've got the V of a stitch here and the head of a stitch here, but it's going to look the same right side up or upside down. So we need to go over to the edge. So I'm looking at the edge here and I can see, okay, here's what looks like the head of a stitch and the stitch below it. Now let's look at what's next to that. And what I see next to that is just a single strand. I don't see another full stitch over here. But if I turn this over and I look at this edge, again, I see the head of a stitch and the V below it, so I know that's a full stitch. And now when I look next to that stitch, I can see that there is a full stitch here, and then there's the head of the stitch here. So with garter stitch, you either need to look at the very edges, the selvages of the fabric, or you need to, if you're mixing garter stitch with other things, you need to look at that transition point and see then if you can identify the full stitches. Now we have seed stitch, and this is one of those fabrics that looks the same on the front as the back, and it seems to look the same right side up and upside down, but there is a difference between the right side up and upside down, but you have to look closely. Just like with garter stitch, when we see that large bump above that looks like a frown, that tells us that's the head of a stitch. And below it, we don't have a full smile, we have just half a smile. Because with seed stitch, we're altering a knit stitch with a purl stitch across the row, but up the columns as well. And so we don't get that full curved smile that we get with garter stitch. So we're going to have a large upper bump and these two smaller lower bumps on either side. If I turn it upside down, when you look at that bump right here, now this bump looks like a smile instead of a frown, and then you've got the two little half ones above it. So the direction of seed stitch is based on finding the large purl bump and realizing that it needs to look like a frown, like it does in garter stitch. And then you'll see those two little bumps below it. So we figured out which way is up on this swatch. Now let's take a look at the cast on edge and the bind off edge. So here we've got that bind off edge that looks like a column of stitches. And when we look at the cast on edge, we also have something that looks like a column of knit stitches. So that's the crochet cast on. So once again, we have a matching cast on bind off situation where you're not going to be able to distinguish the cast on from the bind off without determining the direction of the knitting. The swatches and projects I showed you today contain some of the most common knitted stitch patterns and the most common cast on and bind off edges. If you're interested in seeing how to evaluate more complex stitch patterns like cables, lace, and colorwork, or how to distinguish shaping techniques like increases and decreases, please let me know down in the comments below. You can find links to videos on the half hitch bind off, the tubular cast on and bind off, and other cast on and bind off methods in these playlists over here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.